Hi friends, Mrs. Bowers here. I just want to remind you that this week we've been talking about different types of texts. I'm going to share my screen so you can see. Underneath I have our anchor charts for both a story and poems or poetry. Stories have character settings, problems and solutions, or series of events, and poems will appeal to our feelings. They usually have a rhyme and a rhythm. Sometimes they even have repetition. And we have seen both of these types of texts this week. One, we saw Stone Soup, and the other was The Owl and the Pussycat. We know Stone Soup is a story because it's longer in length. It has pictures on every page with the words. It has characters, the soldiers and the villagers. It has a setting of the village, and it has a problem, the hungry soldiers. The soldiers are hungry and they want a place to sleep, and the solution was they made Stone Soup and got the villagers on their side. Now, The Owl and the Pussycat, we realized was a poem. Each line of text was shorter. There wasn't pictures, but the lines of text didn't always have punctuation. There were rhymes in this, like C and P, and there was also a rhythm when we read this poem. Okay, so today I want to show you another type of text. It is this. It says how to make Play-Doh. How to make Play-Doh. And here we're going to find the features of a recipe. First, I can see it says you will need measuring cups, 4 plastic containers. This information tells us what we're going to need to make Play-Doh. Over here, it says ingredients. 1 cup of warm water, 3 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of salt, 1/4 cup vegetable oil, food coloring. That is all of the ingredients you're going to need to make it. So up here, we learn what we need to make it, and down here are the steps. Work with an adult, mix these ingredients together in a bowl, water, flour, salt, and oil. 2, add more flour till if the mixture is too sticky. Knead the dough until it feels soft and smooth. 3, divide the dough into 4 parts, add 4 to 6 drops of food coloring to each part. Knead the coloring into the dough. 4, store the Play-Doh in airtight containers. It will keep for several weeks. This part tells us how to make Play-Doh. So I want you to point to the part that tells me the tools and the ingredients that we're going to need. Did you point up here to what the tools and the ingredients we will need? Okay. Now, point to the part that tells us how to make the Play-Doh. Did you point down here to the instructions labeled steps? This part tells how to make the Play-Doh. How do you know what to do first? Well, if you look at these steps, each step has a number. So it just makes sense that we would start with number 1. And let's recall, what kind of text is this? It's a recipe. Okay, friends. I am gonna stop sharing. Now, friends, we find recipes all over. Sometimes recipes are for making food. Sometimes they're for making things like Play-Doh. Another type of recipe is an instruction book. And that might be if you're building with Legos. It's not really quite making a food where we call it recipe, but it's instructions. It will give you the same type of steps and the parts you need. So I want you, when you are at your independent reading today or reading with an adult, to determine, are you reading some sort of recipe or instructions? If you are, I want you to be able to describe how you know you're reading it and why. Maybe you can find some recipes or instructions and try to make something new. Okay, friends, off you go.